Okay, welcome to the podcast. This is Traveling Stranger. You might know me from my YouTube channel that you're currently on. So, um, we're doing it a little different this time. People thought it was over, the podcast. It's not. Uh, I'm gonna be ranting. Um, I want to see. This is just a test to see if people actually want to hear one person, namely me, talk about various subjects. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot in tech news, entertainment news, sports news. So we're gonna stay away from politics because that's how you get censored. Uh, so we're gonna talk about first. We're gonna talk about Dragon Ball. Okay. Um, yeah, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Z Kai, Budokai, video game. It's a phenomenon. So um, I'm bringing it up because I've been playing Dragon Ball Fusions on the 3DS. I have a 2DS. You see in the picture. I love my 2DS. That thing is unbreakable. Uh, I got a lot of digital stuff before they shut down the 3DS online. It's like I think the online still works, but the store's down and the online's about to stop working in like November or something, very close. Something like that. So I'm playing Fusions and I'm real excited. The main reason I got that game was because you you uh you can fuse. So I always thought that was cool to see what ifs about who fuses with who. And my favorite fusion that never happened was Krillin, aka Pirillin. He is Piccolo and Krillin fused together, and they're pretty weak characters, but you always got to wonder how powerful they would be if they fused. And in the game, it's ridiculous. You're lucky, like a regular character, you're lucky if you get 2,000 on one hit. But when you fuse, and it's probably a weaker fusion, when you fuse, you get 10,000 on a hit. So it's like, the game wants you to fuse, hence the name Fusions. So I also got Vegito. They gave you him Super Saiyan Blue. I know we don't like. I know Super Saiyan Blue. All that Dragon Ball Super stuff is kind of take it or leave it. I kind of like GT better than Super. Originally, that wasn't popular opinion, and I think people are coming around. And then they're saying, Super Saiyan 4 was really cool. So, yeah, Dragon Ball is legit. I got um I got the Buu Saga on my Xbox digital. So I always watch the Buu Saga. I get to see Mystic Gohan or whatever you want to call him. Uh, you get to see Super Saiyan 3, Go Tanks, all that good stuff. Uh, Boo is a really good villain, super powerful. But my favorite character, probably of all Dragon Ball, is Supreme Kai because it's like, dude, he's like he's like almost Super Saiyan 3 level, and he doesn't even have to prove it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I want to do. I want to be like King. What is he? He's like the senator of the universe or some shit. So anyway, Uh, the the question with that is we're gonna segue and we're gonna say what's going on with the Superman versus Goku battle. And a lot of people have this debate. Um, I'm kind of tired of this debate, but what it means to me is Superman uh wins. Goku, the problem is Superman at his most powerful, I don't even know what he's called. He's like Omega Superman, Superman Prime. Superman, what he does is he gets his power from the sun. Okay, if you don't know that. So he gets his power from the yellow sun because Krypton had a red sun. So Superman, in one of the versions, he lives inside the yellow sun for some reason, right? And he just soaks up energy until he turns like gold, right? Like gold Frieza. Makes no sense. So when he becomes Superman Prime, we're gonna call him that. When he does that, he gets like crazy powers, like more than Dragon Ball ever, you know. So he can create and destroy galaxies, right? A lot of people don't realize how big the galaxy is, but you know, there's tons of galaxies there. There's this universe got a lot to it. So, yeah, so his Superman at his most is better than Goku at his most. Like Ultra Instinct, I guess, is what you would say Goku's highest power level is as of now. Uh, Quote me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe you could say you might say Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is like the most powerful character, but still neither of those forms challenge Superman at his most. Now you're gonna tell me Superman doesn't get that power. You know, like that's like on he needs to hide in the sun, you know, if he was going to do that or whatever, go inside the sun. So yeah, it's kind of like whatever. It's kind of like he probably won't get that form. But then the problem with Goku, okay, and I'm going to end it here, is the problem with Goku is he always wants to fight his enemy at his best. So he's going to wait for him to power up and then he's going to get wrecked. So we're going to move on to the DC universe from there. Uh Superman, he has a cool power in one of the comics a few years ago. They came up with a new power where his laser beams out of his eyes, he powers it up and it like turns into a nuclear bomb, right? So Superman explodes and then you know, everything, you know, assuming he kills everything, then he actually loses his power for a period of time. So that's interesting because he becomes kind of human at that point. I thought that was a cool take. I want to see a Superman movie with Parasite. We could More popular idea would be Brainiac. We haven't seen Brainiac yet. Brainiac um, is a good challenge to Superman because Superman's kind of stupid. Anyway, um, but he's good. In comics, if you're good, you win. If you're bad, you lose. Doesn't matter power levels. So, DC Universe going on. They're out of ideas. They just did Blue Beetle. I kind of want to see it. It's going to be on Max pretty soon. Blue Beetle's cool. He's got a good power. It's like Iron Man powers meets like he's an alien or he's got an alien attached to his back. He's like Iron Man level. Um, Maybe a little more. So DC Universe, Flash movie was good. Flash movie was good. I was pissed that they didn't bring back some of the actors from Justice League, like the original Iris West from the Snyder Cut, and then I liked that the actor that played Flash's father was the actor that played Dr. Manhattan. So I thought that was a cool mix. What they did was, if nobody noticed, Dr. Manhattan actor was Flash's father. Comedian actor is Batman's father. And then Night Owl actor is Aquaman's brother. So they were bringing back the multiverse kind of idea. Watchmen is all the rage right now. I'm all about Watchmen. I just got a comic. Watchmen is I just got Watchmen meets the Justice League, I gotta read. Something like Dr. Manhattan's gonna kill Superman, then realizes he's good. So Dr. Manhattan is the most powerful character I've ever seen. Uh, yeah, I bet Flash could take him. I bet Flash could do something like come at him through the Speed Force. Flash is pretty powerful too. But Flash isn't always that powerful. So we're gonna talk about Marvel now, and what we want to see with Marvel is supposedly they're bringing back the original Avengers, the characters everybody likes, because they're getting a little too crazy with the spin-offs. But it's cool. If you're a fan of Marvel Comics, you want to hear all the different stories. I don't know. I just saw the Across the Spider-Verse. I just watched that. Spoiler alert, it sets up for a sequel. So I was kind of, left hanging with that. But it's cool to see more versions of Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2099. He ain't got nothing on Batman Beyond, though, I'll tell you that. Uh, so, Marvel getting there with the animated, with Into the Spider-Verse and all that universe. They need to branch out and keep doing more. So, because DC animated is amazing. DC animated, we got like Teen Titans stuff going on. Gotta love that. Um, Teen Titans is like better than the Justice League, if you ask me. I mean, not stronger, but more entertaining because they're not as strong. Balance is cool. I like Superboy better than Superman because he doesn't have all the powers. Yeah, sometimes he does. You know how it goes. Superboy seems to gain the powers as time goes on. Stuff like that. Um, but yeah, Marvel, I don't even know what they're doing. I didn't see they did Submariner and it was like, okay, who's Submariner, you know? Is he blue? I don't understand Submariner. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I was surprised Aquaman was good, you know? I mean, I like DC, but who really is out there saying they like Aquaman? I like the new take on Aquaman with Jason Momoa though. He I mean he's not blonde, right? He was supposed to be blonde, but they gave him like blonde highlights or whatever. He's got hair like a woman. But so yeah, yeah, Marvel, what are they working on now? They just came out with Marvel Girls or Marvels, the Marvels, and they stole that name from DC. Captain Marvel was DC originally. Now he's Shazam. Um, DC basically gave it back to, or didn't give it back to them, sold it to them. No, I don't even think they sold it to them. They just said, "Look, your Marvel comics, you should have Captain Marvel, some shit like that." Yeah, but Marvel, um, Captain Marvel, those movies are a little too corny, you know. The first one, his suit looked like a part, like with the fake muscles in Captain Marvel. That was lame. But I guess he got jacked for Captain Marvel 2, Shazam 2. But I don't really like the whole like team of characters. You know, I want to just see Captain Marvel. I mean, Shazam, damn, yeah, he was Captain Marvel when I grew up, man. That's all I know. So anyway, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. But first, we're gonna have an intermission. Uh, what are we gonna play? Da, 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 da. Yeah, let's play this one. cigarettes today. Nothing really important to say. I'm guessing people like me better that way. But did you honestly think I'd stay? All right. So that was the first intermission. And we're still going. I don't know how I do this. This is hard to do in one take, man. I don't know how I did it twice already. So anyway, next topic we're going to go on is we're going to talk about handheld gaming. Is it the best? Is handheld the best way to play? I know these TVs are getting really nice. So nice to throw up the game on the big screen, but handheld gaming is on the go, so that increases the amount of time you can play, and the battery life of these things is getting good. The graphics quality, I mean, the Switch really changed the game, and what happened there was interesting because they were always talking about it, right? They were always saying Nintendo cornered the market on handhelds up to the 3DS. And the issue there is that they had the handheld market keeping their console market alive. Like the Wii was popular, but the Wii U was a huge failure. The Wii sold to adults. It had a lot of casual stuff, a lot. But if you really dig deep, they had a huge library. You can find hardcore stuff on the Wii. So anyway, I don't know why, but they went from the Wii being such a smash hit with Wii Sports got everybody hooked. It was the most casual game ever, and I played it. I don't own it, but I used to play it, and it's cool. I liked Mario Tennis, Mario Golf more. I'll play Mario Strikers was decent. Mario Sports games, Mario Strikers, the soccer game or the football game, whatever you want to call it. Mario Strikers, it was good. It gets a little too complicated when you got more than like one character on your team and stuff, because then you're like, oh well, I want Mario, it's just too complicated. Then so Mario Golf and Mario Tennis are the top ones. Then there's Mario Basketball on the DS, which nobody knows about. And then there's Mario Baseball. I think it's All Stars. Nah, I don't know what it's called. Don't quote me. Uh, they yeah, the Mario Baseball was another one where too many characters. You got like the alligator on your team. You're like, who the hell is this? This isn't even it's even K. Rool. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we're going back to handheld comics. We got a little off on the sports. Handheld consoles. The handheld market's always been dominated by Nintendo. The Vita and the PSP before it were good attempts. Then you go further back, and you got like before like the Game Boy. What was like '88? I think the Game Boy came out. Before all that, they had the Atari Lynx, which is one I always wanted. I always wanted the Atari Lynx, but then there was the Neo Geo and the Game Gear. Uh, those were cool. The issue with those alternatives to Game Boy were they weren't as popular, so the game library is just not as good. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have it. They couldn't. Yeah, you got it, but like, what do you do with it now that you got it? So Game Boy dominated. Game Boy dominated, and up until you got Game Boy, then the Game Boy Color took forever. I like the color Game Boy. If you heard of that, they made the color Game Boy, and everybody was like, "Whoa, wait, oh, it's just a different color Game Boy. It's not a color screen." So it took them too long to make the Game Boy Color, and when they finally did, it was backwards compatible. And Nintendo's always been good with backwards compatibility. Another great idea that certain companies don't do. PlayStation's pretty good with backwards compatibility. Xbox is like Xbox is like, oh yeah, it works with like all these different games, but not only the most popular ones are they working backwards compatible. So it's like why? And then Xbox will tell you, oh, it's too complicated to code. And it's like because that's how you're trying to go backwards. That's the problem is they're trying to code backwards. If they started with the say they started with the Xbox 360 hardware and just or Xbox 360 yeah, if they started with like the software and just upgraded it and basically made it an Xbox 360 that could play Xbox One games, then they'd be good. Then backwards compatibility wouldn't be an issue. But like I said, Nintendo has dominated the handheld market, and what do we think about that? Uh, they screwed themselves with the Switch because now their home console and their handheld console are the same thing. So instead of selling two products, they went to selling one. And while the Switch is a success, we're gonna see what that ends up being like. Um, I love the idea of the Switch. I kind of just want to get the Switch Lite because everybody I know has a Switch. I don't have a Switch. I'm retro. Um, the Switch, if I was to get it, I'd get the Switch Lite um, because I got enough stuff plugged into my TV. Um, yeah, it's like it's like they narrowed their market, and Nintendo is handheld gaming dead? No, because then you got stuff coming out like the Steam Deck, and then you got what's it called the Ally. They got some crazy stuff, and then they're modding so much. They're modding so much handhelds. Like I got in my picture is my modded my Game Boy that plays cartridges, but it's got like a HD screen. So let's get a little song going. No more waiting for someone. I don't like this room. They don't say things about me. If only they knew. Love sends you to the strangest places, but I'm not trying to move. I'll tell you what to believe in, and now you like the least of us. Okay, so we're still going. I'm gonna stay on this. I'm gonna fight this. I'm gonna I'm gonna fight this battle for handhelds. What is going on? No one's talking about the handheld market. It's blowing up. We got bootlegs. We got companies making handhelds that play better graphics than the TV. Something's going on, and it needs to be talked about. So right now, my three handhelds are the Game Boy Advance. It's called the Boxy Pixel Boxy Pixel Game Boy Advance SP Unhinged. Okay, it's hard to remember, and Boxy Pixel made that, so it's an SP that's doesn't fold, and it's got an aluminum case, aluminum buttons, and then it's got Uh, a really good screen. Uh, it's, I mean, like you got like when you're talking about it, you got like AGS 101 and all this shit. Gets complicated. So it's not the original screen. It's a really good screen. Let's look up. Let's look up what it's called. I gotta figure this out. So the AGS 001 is the original Game Boy Advance. Then the AGS 101 is the SP, and then they did the Game Boy Micro screen, which was really good but really small screen. And then they did the Nintendo DS Lite screen, which is kind of the same as the Micro. But I got the IPS version 2. So, it works out. It's a great, it's the best way to play Game Boy Advance, man. I mean, I can play Game Boy and Game Boy Color, but I'm not, I'm not that retro. I mean, I just play like Fire Emblem. Uh, I recently got, I recently got King of Fighters on Game Boy Advance for a lot of money, and that was cool. King of Fighters, it's like the best fighting game on the Advance. But we're gonna move on to the 2DS, okay? The 2DS, not the 3DS, the 2DS, because I don't like consoles that fold. I don't know. I don't like it. Seems cheap. Broken hinges, all that. So I got the 2DS, but the 2DS is actually cheap. So whatever. They were like, "Oh, this is for kids, super durable, plays all your games. If you're worried about your kid looking at 3D, it only does 2D." I don't know why people are worried about 3D. Nobody used it though. That was the thing. So you could get like $100 cheaper, and it was like the 2DS was the shit. So I love the 2DS. I've been playing it, still playing it. If you saw, I got my Game Boy and my 2DS are matching colors. Did that on purpose. Uh, so 2DS. I mean, yeah, the library's not there for 3DS, but it was still successful. What happened with the 3DS was it wasn't selling well, and they had no competition. People were, I don't know what it was. People were still playing their regular DS. Maybe they thought 3DS wasn't new. There's a lot of problems with branding in Nintendo. That's why the Wii U failed. Everybody thought it was still the Wii, but it played new games. So branding is always important. And so the 2DS, yeah, it's sweet. It's freaking sweet, man. Cheapest way to play 3DS. And they came out with so many variant colors of it. Like, there's so many different ones. It's ridiculous. And there's some ugly ones. Some ugly ones. But I like mine best. It's the original. It's like the original American one, at least. Yeah. It took a while to come to Japan because sales weren't going down on the 3DS. The 3DS was having issues because um, I don't know. Once they lowered the price, it skyrocketed. Like once they lowered the price, but then they came out with people as early adopters get free Game Boy Advance games. Yeah, they hooked up the people who were early adopters of the 3DS. But once they came out with the price drop, 3DS took off. I noticed though that the games are all by Nintendo. There's very few third party that are worth it. No, I'm not gonna say that, but the best games are by Nintendo, like Luigi's Mansion, Super Mario 3D Land, all the Zeldas. And then I was on that petition to get Majora's Mask remade. Yeah, I got Ocarina um, and Majora's Mask going, but they're a little dated now. When you see what Zelda's doing now, Zelda on the Switch is like that's like some real next level. That's some next gen, you know. Zelda on Switch, man. So I want to get I want to get the Switch Lite eventually and catch up on these Zelda games. I would just get the Switch Lite for Zelda. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna play Smash, but Smash has so many characters now that there's no balance. Last I checked, there's no balance. Everybody plays the same damn characters. So I still got Melee. the best one. I'm still playing Melee. I got Brawl, and I got 3DS Smash is really good. I just wish it had more characters. 3DS Smash is awesome, and it was online. Probably still online for like 10 more days, and then they turned it off. Um, so yeah, the 2DS, man, it had some life to it. Yeah, I was all about it. People hating on the 2DS, man. People hate on it. And then it's like, what do you even know about the 2DS? You don't know shit. You don't know. What do you think this is? So, finally, my other handheld I got is my phone. So this is the debate. Is the phone a handheld? Does it count? So, is it casual? If it's a handheld, is it still casual? Phone games are getting crazy. Um, the two phone games that I think are, what do they call it? Um, uh, Top tier. That's not the word though. Um, uh, the two phone games I think that are very good are Call of Duty Mobile and Diablo Immortal. So, um, they're like, yeah, they're like killer apps, man. It's like, but you don't want to play with your phone touchscreen. So I got the Backbone controller, the Backbone 1 phone controller, which was originally just for iPhone. Then it got popular, and they made it for Android. And then they made the PlayStation version. So the Backbone's very cool. And they got the Backbone app that makes it like a console interface. And the Backbone is so addictive because your phone is always on you. And then you say, I want to play a game. And then you're like, well, let me just grab the controller. I don't leave the house with it. I don't leave the house with that controller though. It's too cumbersome. I don't leave the house with any of my handhelds though. I just hang out, put the TV on. I got the Chromecast going. I love the Chromecast, and I'll put on the news or something that you don't really need to pay attention to, and I'll just play handhelds on the couch. So the Backbone is great. I was one of the first people to buy it. They made me a founder, which means I get the app for free, which is like what, like it's like a $30 a year value. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Honestly, like if I bought the Backbone now and I had to pay the yearly subscription for the Backbone Plus app, I'd be a little disappointed in that. But a lot of people got more money than me, and it's kind of chump change to play to get that app. And you really can't, like, yeah, you can use the Backbone controller without the app, but what are you doing? Why would you do that to yourself? And plus, you can like stream to Twitch. I was streaming to Twitch. I'm not popular on Twitch, but I was streaming to Twitch. I was taking screenies. I was playing all my games and then watching clips of people posting. And then I got my friends on Backbone that I never met, just friended them. So it's cool. It's like the Xbox. It's got an Xbox vibe interface. So I recommend the Backbone. And they're going. What they did though is it doesn't have support for like newer phones because the camera juts out on the new iPhone. So you need like an adapter that makes the phone sit in the controller a little crooked. That really, I don't even think that's OCD. I have a problem with that. I don't think that just bothers me that it's crooked. Like they say when you're looking at it, you don't notice. But if you look at, I don't know. If you like moving around, you're looking at it. Whatever. But, yeah, so still, I recommend the Backbone. And yeah, get the app. Get the app because then you can friend me. I'm easy to find. So we're going to have another song. in space. Hey, I'm through. I'll be up in space, cause I hate you. Writing my presents cause I don't know why. It's the cheap disaster, this is fine. Maybe I'm mad at you. Maybe I'm mad at you. Maybe I'm mad at you. I don't know what to do. I'm just hoping this whole thing catches on. Time to pick a side, which is wrong. Living like a rock star gets real. An expensive lifestyle I've been told. Maybe I'm mad at you. Okay. Well, now what are we going to talk about? I ran out of ideas. I had them all written down. So, we're going to talk. I feel like my followers are like turbo nerds, like really weird people, but they're like devoted, you know? Uh, I'm talking about between YouTube and X. Those are my platforms. Everyone's like, oh, why don't you get Instagram? I'm like, Instagram's for girls in bathing suits. And then they're like, oh, well, why don't you get Snapchat? I'm like, don't you gotta be like 4 years old or like selling drugs? Like, I don't do new social media, especially since uh, Elon's trying to make X like an everything app, whether he's successful or not. All he's got to do is copy WeChat over in China. It's not that complicated. He's just trying to watch. The next thing he's going to do is start doing like, you know, essentially PayPal, because PayPal's falling off. PayPal is falling off. eBay pretty much cut ties with PayPal. Nobody trusts it. Bunch of scammers. I'm glad. But yeah, my followers are just violent maniacs, and they got my back. So, you know, you got a problem with me, you got to talk to my followers. They're violent. They will hurt you. They'll find you too. Like, I'm not threatening you. I'm not threatening nobody. They're threatening you. Yeah, just see what they say. Watch the comment section. See what you say. Don't even try posting a negative comment. They'll come after you. They hurt people. So anyway, we're gonna, like I was saying, my followers, I don't think they're interested in sports unless I'm talking about Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, which I'm good at. Those are the sports I'm good at. Nah, I was all right at baseball, but I came to the realization that I was better off buying lottery tickets, and my odds were better at the lottery. But freaking, we're gonna talk about my two teams, the Jets and the Mets, and it's not just because they rhyme, but the Jets are having an interesting season. They are 4-4. If you watched early in the season, you know that Aaron Rodgers tore his hamstring, I believe, and he's healing quickly. But Aaron Rodgers was like, everybody was saying about the Jets when they got Aaron Rodgers that they were good odds for the Super Bowl. And normally I discredit those like early Super Bowl predictions, but the beginning of last year, I believe the Chiefs were the number one choice for the Super Bowl, and they ended up winning. So, you know, if you're a gambling man or woman, you should pay attention to these predictions in football. I always thought, you know, the phrase any given Sunday is like anybody can beat anybody. Like Bart Scott used to say, anybody can be beat. But, you know, overall, yeah, I mean, like most sports, I always thought it was anything could happen in the playoffs. You know, you got to be good for the regular season, but anything can happen in the playoffs. That's what I thought was cool about soccer, football, or whatever you want to call it. Whoever, I don't know what league it is. I think it's the English Premier League. They They don't have playoffs. It's just whoever has the better record wins the championship. I always thought that was interesting. So every game matters. Um, but what does that mean? Uh, how do you have a Super Bowl? You know, the Super Bowl is like the ultimate sporting event, and to me, it's the World Series. But the Super Bowl uh, is pretty profitable because football allows for so many commercial breaks. People, don't you realize? So many commercial breaks in football, and and then you got all these girls and weird guys that watch the Super Bowl just for the commercials and the halftime show. And it's like I I don't know, man. I watch the Super Bowl even if I'm not interested in the teams. That's the crazy thing. It's just like so hype. So I don't really watch the world. I didn't really watch the World Series. I watched a few games. Texas Rangers winning over the Arizona Diamondbacks, and yeah, Super Bowl just it doesn't matter. You don't even need to be into football, let alone your team's in the game, you know? Super Bowl is just so profitable. And oh my God, the tickets for that? Who honestly? No, the only way I would ever buy a Super Bowl ticket if it was my team, yeah, if it was my team, I would buy the cheapest Super Bowl ticket there is, which is probably at least 1,000. Uh, hit me up in the comments if you know, because it's got to be like the cheapest tickets for the Super Bowl is probably like 5,000. It's probably up there. But yeah, if it was the Jets in the Super Bowl, yeah, I would try to go if my money was right. And but yeah, ever since Aaron Rodgers hurt himself, they haven't been talking Super Bowl. So Zach Wilson has been playing for the Jets, and he's just like it's crazy, man. It's like they're like fighting a losing battle. It's crazy. Like if it's not Zach Wilson, then it's the other guys that are messing up. Like they hit the guy in the center of his chest, and that ball bounced off. And I know the game was over at that point. I guess he would probably catch it if it mattered, right? But oh my God, it's like it's like one game they're dude they almost beat the Chiefs. They got a lot of bad calls, but they had a lot of chances. The Chiefs kind of did beat them, but they almost beat the Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champs, and then they beat the Eagles, the other team from the Super Bowl previous year. Did I say Eagles? I meant Eagles. So yeah, they beat the Eagles, made them look silly, and so they have this potential. And it's not just that it's any given Sunday. It's that when the team works, they got to have everyone performing. The the issue was the punter Morstead, Jets punter Morstead is like, dude, the guy guy played a hell of a game, man, against the Giants. When the Jets Giants game, that was one of the worst games I've ever seen. I was surprised they even scored a touchdown. But the Jets showed up with 24 seconds left. They put it together and put it into overtime. And these new overtime rules are interesting. Thanks to the Bills crying about it, they got the overtime rules changed. Where you get to, it's not just the first score, you get to match, and if you don't match, you lose. So, basically what college was doing. I don't know if college is still doing it that way. I don't know. Uh, yeah. So the Jets have been fun to watch, but also stressful because they just don't show up some games, you know. And Zach Wilson, I don't know, man. I don't know what to think. That's Zach Wilson is a quarterback for the Jets. He just needs. Do we think Aaron Rodgers is coming back this season? And I keep saying Aaron Rodgers will be back by the time the Jets are in the Super Bowl. He'll be back, and that's probably realistic because I mean it's supposed to be a year recovery for his injury. So, can Zach Wilson right the ship? Can he lead the team. It's a very young team, which is a good thing, but they've been saying it's a young team for years now. So yeah, as you can tell, I've been paying a lot of attention to the Jets, and the Mets, on the other hand, they got a hell of an off season. Baseball. That's another thing about my audience is it's hard to switch from baseball to football because. But we're just gonna say for the Mets that they didn't perform. They are a good team. They they just had a bad season, a lot of injuries and stuff. I can't tell you what the Mets need. I really can't. Maybe their closer Edwin Diaz needs to come back. They got to stop allowing early runs. Their hitting, I think, has been better than usual this past season. They've been able to put points on the board, and so I don't know. I mean, those are my two teams, man. I mean, yeah, I also like the New York Rangers hockey, and but hockey I only watch during the playoffs, really. But yeah, hockey is really entertaining, and I want to go to a hockey game because it's so lively. The crowd really gets pumped, and then I like the Knicks, and I would love to go to the Madison Square Garden. I've been to Madison Square Garden, just not for a game. The Knicks, they might be the worst team I like. They are historically very bad. But my favorite Knick was Allen Houston. Right now, it's Julius Randle is my favorite Knick. So I'm going to keep watching the Knicks. And they've been making the playoffs. But basketball definitely seems like people turn it up for the playoffs. Like, you can have a great season, and then all of a sudden you're out in the first round. So, Knicks, Rangers. Yeah, soccer team, I don't know. New York City Football Club won the championship recently. That's cool. And then who doesn't love the New York Liberty? I'm all about New York if you haven't noticed. But New York Liberty rocks. They just choked against the Aces. Cause if I was at a Las Vegas game, I would have a sign that says "The house always wins." So yeah, let's get a song going to ease the tension. Yep, that reminds me of Watchmen, man. I've been really binging Watchmen, man. Who watches The Watchmen? It's like I've introduced so many people into The Watchmen. It's like, it's just so cool. It's like nobody has superpowers, but one guy does, and he's got the craziest powers of all time. And it's like, what do you do? What do you do in that situation? I mean, he is a metaphor for nuclear weapons, really. Uh, you know, I just watched Oppenheimer. That I call that Oppenheimer was C-SPAN meets Lord of the Rings. That's what that was, and it was cool. They're making these movies really long, but I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I guess Killers of the Flower Moon was really long. Uh, I'm okay with it, but give us some intermissions, man. Dude, I drink extra large soda when I go to the movies and extra large popcorn if I'm hungry. And I love the movies. It's one of my favorite things, but give us an intermission, man. I don't want to miss the movie because I got to piss. And I don't think I'm the only one. And so the movie I'm looking forward to is Napoleon. Napoleon sounds awesome. Ridley Scott directing, Joaquin Phoenix acting, and uh and Napoleon. I like him as a historical figure. I mean, he ain't got nothing on American history, but uh Napoleon was pretty badass. And you hear what they're saying? They're saying that they're gonna do a director's cut. Have you heard what they're saying? They're gonna do a director's cut of Napoleon that's like 4.5 hours. I wrote it down, but I don't know. Yeah, 4.5 hours. Yeah. I'm about to say, screw the theaters. I'll wait till it's on, you know, streaming or DVD and just stay at home and watch the longer version. Because you know that's like 2 hours longer than the movie version, the theater version. So, for the closing minutes, we're going to do. I circled no politics because that's how you get censored. But I do want to talk about social media, and I think I'm gonna branch off into other topics. But really, like I said, YouTube and X are my platforms, and they both are just stressful. And I'm about to like I got a bad habit of writing stupid things online. So um, YouTube I'm really calm about because I know. Well, YouTube, I mean, while YouTube is censoring people, like they're getting better at it. Like they're only going to censor you if you're like calling for violence. Um, YouTube's allowing more political videos than usual, um, which is cool. I'm trying not to lean one way or the other because you split your audience in half. That's all you're doing. But YouTube as a community, I said it in my song "In Quarantine." Um, I don't really dig this scene. YouTube is like it's like what is it? Prank videos. Nah, I haven't seen too many prank videos lately, but I remember it was prank videos all the time, and like mean pranks, like just trying to shock the viewers into watching. And so it was prank videos. Um, and then what was the other? Eating weird things. People eating weird things. And Good Mythical Morning made a career off of that. But they are talented besides their eating weird things. And they created that cooking show. So they took it in the right direction. But I met a few people that were like eating paper clips and shit. Like, is that what you want to be known for? Oh, if you get monetized, oh yeah, monetized. Keep eating weird things like eat a bicycle like that guy, or some guy like ate a whole plane one time. I heard, but that wasn't on YouTube. That was like a Guinness Book. So yeah, YouTube with the censorship, the community. I mean, like, I wish people commented on my videos more. I don't know how to engage with the audience, man. Like, I'm gonna have to start calling out people by name, put them on the spot. But YouTube is it's a shit show. You know, if you can believe it, I was actually paid on YouTube for a little while. Then they changed the rules. Originally, it was just views. All you needed was views, and I have the views. But now you need subscribers. So if you're watching, give me subscribe. Unless you don't like this, I'm not gonna force you. But But yeah, I need subscribers if I was to get paid again. YouTube's kind of. It seems like YouTube though, like once your video reaches a certain point, they stop suggesting you because then they realize it's like I don't know how to put it other than censorship. It's like once they see your video is popular and it's growing, like I have my videos lately are skyrocketing and then flatlining. And it's like, well, that looks very suspicious. And I know it's just the algorithm. I'm sure it's no evil YouTube company, but the algorithm just stops suggesting you like flat out. And so you get like 2 days. You got like 2 days to make your views, and then it's got to become self sufficient or something like that. But people are saying go on X to make videos, and then I mean I have a big audience on a bigger audience. I'm not gonna say big, but I have more of an audience on X than I do on YouTube. But YouTube is like more fun, man. More fun than X. X X is like, people posting memes, so it's good to scroll. You can get a little bit of news. Yeah, you can get a little bit of news now. Elon's got to figure it out, man. He's trying to stream games on X, but you got to pay now for a subscription X or whatever. Like, what are we paying for? And then these companies, they X is doing it. What was the other company? Yeah, YouTube is doing it. Yeah, the two companies. They're saying, oh, pay for YouTube Premium, pay for X, whatever subscription, or else we're gonna like barrage you with ads. But I kind of like ads, but sometimes it gets out of hand. YouTube, you can usually skip them, but when I'm watching on Chromecast, it's like the TV, the remote is like way far away, and all of a sudden it's like 10-minute ad. It's like I gotta go, I gotta find the remote, skip it, and so they're increasing the amount of ads to make you subscribe and pay for the premium. So, but I don't know. I mean, I sometimes ads are cool. Ads on X aren't good because you'll be like, oh, what are they saying in the comments? I want to troll, and then you read the comments and it's like, buy this, and it's like, oh, these aren't even real people posting. These are companies, and I don't know, man. But YouTube and X are my platforms. I use Facebook only to stay in contact with like kids from high school that probably don't want to stay in contact with, but uh, I don't know. There's some good memes on Facebook that aren't on X, so I'm sticking with Facebook. But the messenger is pretty sweet to message some of these people. But yeah, I'm almost checked out of Facebook. It's just incriminating. People know too much about me on there. X, nobody knows me. I'm a traveling stranger. And then yeah, Facebook I used to use my real name, now I don't. But everybody knows. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. My saying about YouTube is with the community, it's like, oh, YouTube, backstab your way to the top, you know? Like I've had so many people I've messaged that I see on YouTube, and I message them on X, and then they talk to me for a while, and then they get more popular and they disappear, and then they're too good for me. I think a lot of people can relate to that, but you know, I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it's a cash cow. I think they're just trying to convince you to pay for it. But YouTube, you pay for it, you're not going to get more popular. That's just to get rid of the ads. X might be a little more profitable. Um, So, yeah, we're gonna play a song. I think we're gonna play us out. I might talk a little bit more.
Maybe I'll see you later. Maybe I'll see you later. Never thought with a stranger
Yep. Okay, I'm still here. I'm gonna go a little bit longer. Um, the people demand it. So yeah, handheld games, Nintendo, um, limited warranty. Uh, things are good, man. Cartridges, cartridges are back. And you know what I was thinking is iPhone is talking big game about uh their new iPhones, or Apple's talking about their new iPhones being really good for video games. And I'm thinking like, okay, can we get cartridges? Can we make iPhones into, or yeah, I'm sure they're gonna increase the storage capacity. But it's funny with on the backbone with my iPhone, it's like, oh, you read the description in the App Store, and you're like, it's like, oh, it's only 250 megabytes. That's nothing. Then you download it, then you load it up, and then it says, oh, downloading 2 gigs of content. So then it just went to like, over 2 gigs. And you're like, oh, okay, so that 250 megabytes was a lie. And then you keep the game and you play over the years, or not even years, like months. You play them for a few months, and they keep coming out with updates, right? And every update's increasing it by like 500 megabytes. And the program, the app is just, yeah, the game is just increasing in size consistently. And I find that if you uninstall it and then reinstall it, it's not as bloated. Maybe by like nothing crazy, maybe like 500 megabytes, half a gig, but still that's a lot. And so it's like, okay, so how big is this file going to be? How big are we going to make this file? So that's a little annoying. I only got like, that's why I got Call of Duty Mobile and Diablo Immortal. Those are like the top tier, you know, high production value games that I got, and they're huge files. So all the other games are like arcade games that I got. Like Chrono Trigger is pretty small game. KOTOR is pretty small. But you know, is it my fault for not having larger storage? Probably. That's what they'll tell you. So, handheld. The moral of the story is DC and Marvel are out of ideas. Dragon Ball has been out of ideas. And we're gonna go with handheld gaming is still the best, especially since all the new systems coming out, Steam Deck, Ally and all that. RG Ally, I think it's called. And stuff like that. Asus. I don't know. They all got this stuff. Handheld gaming. New York sports is as bad as ever. And um and the internet is more and more censored every day. X and YouTube are just the tip of the iceberg. So we're gonna so we're gonna close out. I hope you guys love me. I love you too.